Yo, what's up? If this is your first time watching me, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I am Baha and I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I want to do on YouTube, but regardless, today I actually wanted to share with you the 6 steps that I have actually taken to help me save 10,000 ringgit in cash over 1 year living as an international student abroad here today. So without further ado, let's actually get into this video. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is that you want to cut down your costs wherever possible. So for example, before all of this pandemic happened and before the shutdown occurred, I was actually a food addict. I used to lift very heavy weights at the gym before I have lost all of my muscle density. And I was always buying food and trying to eat more and more, hoping to bulk up and up because I was a skinny guy when I have first started. When the pandemic happened and I was forced to stop exercising, basically I have stopped eating as much as I used to eat. The result of that is that I have went from spending approximately 50 ringgit per day on food to about 20 ringgit per day just to make ends meet. If you actually do the math, that means that I have been saving 30 ringgit per day, which is approximately 900 ringgit per month in US dollars. For those of you who don't know, that's approximately 225 to 250 US dollars. So may not make a very big difference to you if you're an adult, a full-time working adult. That could be a complete joke, but for me as a student, this was a complete deal breaker. If you do the mathematics, this will actually equate to a little bit over 10,000 ringgit, but obviously I've also had my bad months where I have bought some stuff, whether I needed it or not, and I'm trying to invest into my business, so I haven't actually crossed the 10,000 ringgit, but if you do the math, I actually had in total over 10,000 ringgit in cash. So that was my first point, like cut down your costs wherever possible. The second point that we want to talk about is to actually live under your means. So majority of people are actually falling into this guilt trap, and I'm one of them, unfortunately, where we see something brand new and we're like, oh, I have to buy this, or I have to buy that. For example, Apple. Let's just all look at Apple in their ecosystem. Everyone's like, oh, I have to buy the iPhone 13 or iPhone 12 or whatever the latest model right now that is. And they have the second latest model, and when you ask them why, they just want to keep up with the trends, like keeping up with the Kardashians in America. Nobody actually, no pun intended here, but nobody actually, gets something valuable out of this, but everyone's like, oh, I just want to keep up with them because that's what makes me look cool in front of everyone else. Point is, everyone's trying to impress people that they simply do not like, which is a complete waste of money and a complete waste of time. And the way I see it, it's absolutely redundant. So if you really do not need the latest and greatest tech, and if you have something that could just do the job just fine, and you need the money for something else, I would recommend just don't spend your money on that. It's totally not worth it. Save your money for something that will actually bring you more money within the future. And don't even save, try to invest, but we will come back to this point at the end. Now, the third point that I really want to talk about, and majority of people are actually guilty of this, even me sometimes, is that you will want to hang out on your own. Here's the thing. I personally see having friends as one of 3 options. Either you are hanging out with the wrong people who will mentally destroy you over the long term, you are alone, or you are hanging out with winners, people who are basically better than you. Try to get rid of the first one, which is hanging out with people who will destroy you on the long term. If your friends smoke, they spend a lot of money lavishly like there's no tomorrow, they drink a lot, maybe they hook up with girls or something. Hopefully I do not get demonetized for saying this, but you get my point. Like, if you actually know people like this, for the love of God, just don't waste your time with them. These people are totally not worth hanging out with. You only want to hang out by yourself or with people who are on the same journey as you, or people who are actually better than you. Because when it comes to human nature, everyone is willing to help you until you reach their position, but as soon as you start surpassing them, nobody actually wants to help you out. So always hang out with people who you are sure will be very happy to see you succeed, because these people will definitely want to help you on the long term. And in my personal experience through time, these are the best people to hang out with, because these kind of people will always be the ones to advise you based on their experience of what you will want to do next, to make sure that you are actually ahead and playing the game with them. It's always good to hang out with people who are either on the same level as you or they are better than you. The fourth point that we actually want to talk about is that you do not want to force yourself into mental depression. Here's the thing, if you are actually starting to, cut down costs, if you remember what we have said in the first point about cutting down costs, some people will actually take this to the extreme where they'll be like, oh, but I said this, so now I have to live in the dirtiest place in town, or maybe I have to eat really trashy food, or I have to starve myself. Please don't do that, okay? And especially do not put me responsible for this, because I will feel guilty. What I'm trying to say here is that as long as it is bearable and manageable and you can actually do it, like for example, if you live in a room that is manageable but it costs less than something that is a little bit lavish, and you can survive in that room that is manageable, then by all means please do it. I would highly recommend that you do that. But if it is like, something that is completely destroyed and wrecked and it has seen nightmares and could even be haunted by ghosts, and you're like, I want to save money, please don't do that, okay? Do not get yourself into mental issues. They are very hard to recover from, and it took me quite a few years before I recovered from my own mental issues because of incidents that have happened in my life before. The fifth point that I want to talk about is reorganize and dedicate your life. So let's say, for example, if you find yourself stuck in a loophole where you're always complaining that like, oh, I do not have money, or oh, I do not have time, or oh, I'm so busy, I cannot do this, I want to watch Netflix and all of that, and then you will come back and complain within a few months or a few years, why couldn't I afford that, what makes this person better than me, and all of that. Please guys, reevaluate your life and make sure that you're going on the right track. Whatever you don't need, just because everyone talks about it doesn't mean that you need it. If you don't need it and you know for a fact that this will be addicting and your friends are encouraging you, like I've said in the third point, hang out on your own or with people who want something better than you. What I'm trying to say here is that you will want to reorganize your life in such a way that you are only hanging out with the right people and the right group of friends, because these kind of people will actually encourage you to stay away from the stuff that you definitely do not need, which consumes time and money. Do not invest your time into stuff that will eat your time, because if you actually look around on the internet today, everyone is fighting for your attention. This comes from Netflix, from Amazon Prime, from YouTube. Even I was procrastinating all day today on YouTube. It actually took me a miracle to convince me to make this video. But what I want to say here is that if you're procrastinating or, reading Reddit, Quora, Facebook, social media, whatever the case is, please make sure that you have some time limits on that. Because if you have time limits and a daily budget for yourself that you do not allow yourself to pass through, at first it might hurt a little bit, but on the long term, you will be achieving stuff that majority of people will be like, oh, he got lucky and all of that. Trust me, it was never about luck. These people have only rearranged their time and dedicated their time to very useful stuff, and they have also dedicated their daily budgets and money to stuff that they only need. Again, let me just go through this one more time. There's a big difference between stuff that you want and stuff that you need. If you want something, delay it as much as you can. Get it when you can afford it, like 20 or 30 times. If you need something, for example, food and water and all of that, definitely do not delay that. But if you want something, like for example, you're like, man, you want to buy a brand new lens for your camera to take better pictures. If the lens that I have right now is working perfectly fine, I honestly don't see a reason why I want to buy a brand new lens. But if it is food and water, which is something I need, not something what I want, then that is completely necessary, and you have to always take care of your needs before your wants. The sixth point that I want to talk about is you want to reinvest your money into stocks and trusted assets. So here's the thing. If you've been, this is something I've actually learned of YouTube, from following, financial gurus and all of that, but they always talk about inflation and how money actually loses its worth over time. So for example, today you'll be like, oh, I'm going to save 10,000 ringgit in 1 year or something, and then you'll be shocked when you only have like 9,000 or 9,500. The rest of the money has been lost in inflation. Instead of saving your money, personally, I would recommend that you invest it. Like right now we have cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all of these, trusted assets. You could definitely invest your money into that, and rest assured, instead of losing money, you will be making more money. Although there's, maybe taxes if you're living in America. I don't know exactly about Malaysia here. But always invest your money into trusted assets that will always give you a comeback, something that will pay back for itself and give you a little bit more of money to enjoy, and invest in that over a very long period of time, and hopefully you will be successful. And these are all of the 6 points that I wanted to discuss with you today about how I have managed to save 10,000 ringgit as a student. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please make sure to hit the like and comment down below what you want to see me do next, and make sure to subscribe for future content. Right now I'm actually trying to focus more on making daily vlogs, but sometimes I just don't feel like it. But regardless of all of that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.